So, in 2001, I had breast cancer, and the doctors performed what they call was a lumpectomy. Now, I think lumpectomies are a little misleading because I figured a lumpectomy was a little quarter, you know, like they're going to take a little lump out. But when they took the bandages off, I was pretty shocked at what wasn't left of my breast. And then I had radiation because I didn't know what I know now, and that further destroyed my breast, and so I was left disfigured and uneven. And as any breast cancer patient will tell you, that disfigurement and that hole in that's left in your body is kind of demoralizing. And I remember at the time I was offered two choices. I was offered implants or something called a tram flap, and that's not really what I wanted. So I said, you know what? Sew me up, because I think something better is going to come along. Well, something better came along. It took me 10 years, but I heard about a Japanese doctor who had been regrowing breasts using the woman's own stem cells. And so I hooked up with Dr. Joel Aronowitz, and he learned the technique, and well, here I am, sort of bragging about my bosom these days, but it is so wonderful to be whole again. So joining me today is my pal, Dr. Aronowitz, just out of surgery, and also Ellen Price and Nancy Morris, both of whom, as a result of what Dr. Aronowitz and I would say myself established, now are both whole also. This is an incredible breakthrough in breast cancer. We did filming for my procedure, and we're going to run a piece of that film because I'd like you to see what it looks like. Explain the procedure that you did on the three of us.
We liposuction fat from an area that it needs to come out anyway, typically. And then from that fat, we harvest the stem cells. Those are immature cells that can become one of a variety of different kinds of cells. We take that out of the fat, and then we inject those cells with fat back into the breast to replenish the breast, not with breast tissue, which can become cancerous, but with fat tissue, which will become nice, soft fat. One of the questions is, will I get breast cancer from this new tissue?
Yes, thank you.
And the answer is no. Fat doesn't become cancerous very often. It can, but it's rare. Most of us can afford to have a little liposuction somewhere. There are more stem cells concentrated in the abdomen and the love handle area. But if the woman has less extra fat and the only place she has it, for example, is the love handles or the inner thighs, then we can take it from where she has it. There still are stem cells there.
What's incredible about my breast is that it's full, it's real, it's soft, it has full feeling. I don't have a foreign object in there. I can't reject me. You and I had a hard time getting this done originally. I mean, it took so long to get that IRB. Why are they doing it overseas and it's not standard procedure here?
Well, that's a good question. I wish I knew the answer to that. There's certainly some structural problems. There's a resistance from the FDA, of course.
We're all scheduled to do it, and then they pulled the approval. And then we went back in and we did it again.
We were going to go to Korea or go to Japan and do it, and you know, my hat's off to you for saying no. We're going to do this here in America with an American doctor, and I thought, you know, what if we never get it approved? And finally we did, and good for you for waiting, because you waited over a year.
Well, actually the whole thing was 3 years, but I felt that somebody had to do this in this country so that it would become an option for women. Ellen.
Yes.
You had a mastectomy, right?
I did.
And how did you hear about Dr. Aronowitz?
A girlfriend of mine from Florida called me up and says, get People magazine, you have got to go online and see Suzanne Summers. And she knew that I was always wanting Star Trek medicine. I was so not wanting to continue with old type.
Orthodox, right?
Yeah. And so I thought maybe in 1 in a million chances I'd be able to get in to see him. The office was incredible, and I saw him the next day, actually.
The next day?
The next day, they had a cancellation. They put me right in. all I could do is think, Suzanne Somers is a champion for women.
Yes.
Thank you.
It is such an emotional thing. This is, to me, the biggest progress that has happened in breast cancer in a long, long time. Nancy, tell me your story. How did it happen? How did you find out about him?
Well, I happened to just turn on the TV to the Dr. Oz show, and you were on with Dr. Aronowitz. And I said, I have to remember his name. And it was about a month later that I found out that I had breast cancer. And
oh my. So you went in, did they do surgery for your breast cancer?
all at the same time.
All at the same.
Yes.
That is what you had been talking about, because Dr. Aronowitz had said to me after we did mine, I was the first one to legally do this in the country, and he said, down the road, what we're going to be able to do is when a woman goes in for breast cancer is do the fill right at the same time.
Exactly, and it was a breeze. It was, when my family saw me, they were shocked that I looked so good, I felt so good, and you know, a day after I was putting on my makeup, I went to the grocery store, I was doing errands, and I had so much energy.
Horror out of breast cancer. Thank you. You're brilliant. Thank you. You're both brave. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be back.